You ever wonder why it's just so hard to start a good habit? Like meditating. But it's ridiculously easy to just keep scrolling on your phone way too late at night? Well, the answer isn't just about willpower. Turns out it's a lot about your sleep. So let's explore this really powerful, kind of surprising link between how you rest and how you build your life.
I mean, come on, we've all been there. You're exhausted, you know you need to sleep, but for some reason, you just can't stop scrolling. It's this super frustrating cycle, right? Well, it turns out there's actually a name for this very specific struggle. And this is what we're going to call the procrastination paradox. It's a weird one, isn't it? The more tired you are, the more you put off the one thing that will actually help you, which is sleep. And listen, this isn't just you having a lack of self-control. No. This is a well-known psychological phenomenon.
Yeah, it's called revenge bedtime procrastination. And that word revenge is everything. This whole behavior is often a reaction to a day where you felt like you had zero control, maybe your boss was breathing down your neck, or you were just running around for everyone else. So you stay up late, trying to claw back a little bit of me time, a sense of freedom, even if you know it's going to cost you tomorrow.
Okay, so what is actually going on inside our heads when we do this? Let's take a look at what happens to the command center of our brain when we're running on empty. So I want you to think of your prefrontal cortex as the CEO of your brain. It's the boss. It handles all the big stuff, smart decisions, long-term planning, and this is the big one, impulse control. But when you're sleep-deprived, it's like your CEO just packs up and goes home early. The part of your brain that should be screaming, "Hey, put the phone down and go to bed," is just offline. Nobody's home.
And you know what happens when the CEO's out of the office, right? The brain just defaults to its old automatic routines. It's this massive shift from what's called goal-directed control. That's when you make conscious choices for a future reward. Over to habitual control. That's where your brain just does what it's always done, like scrolling, without even thinking about the consequences.
And here's where it gets even trickier. Being tired completely messes with your brain's reward system. It cranks up the dopamine-fueled wanting, that intense craving for something. But it doesn't do a thing for the liking, the actual pleasure you get from it. And that's why you keep scrolling. You're chasing a hit of satisfaction that just never really shows up.
Okay, let's put this all together because it's pretty clear what's happening. Sleep loss basically creates a perfect storm inside your brain. Your impulse control, gone. Your emotional center, the amygdala, it's on high alert, super reactive, and your reward system is just screaming for instant gratification. It's literally a recipe for making bad decisions and breaking all those resolutions you set.
Okay, that's enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution, because there is one. We need to stop thinking of sleep as just passive rest. It's not. It's an active workshop where your brain is literally building and reinforcing the very habits you want to create. It all comes down to something called neuroplasticity. So when you try something new, let's say you meditate for just 5 minutes, your brain forms a brand new but kind of weak neural connection. The best way to think about it is like a very faint pencil line. Then, while you're sleeping, your brain gets to work. It starts reinforcing that new connection through a process called myelination. Now, what that means is it's basically insulating that new neural wire. And this protective coating makes the signal travel way faster and much more efficiently. So after just a few nights of good, quality sleep, that faint pencil line gets reinforced over and over until it becomes a superhighway. And that's when the action becomes faster, more efficient, and eventually automatic. And that, right there, is how sleep literally turns conscious effort into an unconscious habit.
And this isn't just one part of sleep, by the way. This process uses the entire sleep cycle. During that deep, slow wave sleep, your brain is locking in the what of the new memory. Then, later during REM sleep, it gets creative. It starts connecting that new information to everything you already know, which really helps solidify that new habit.
So if sleep is the workshop where all this happens, then consistency is the key to the front door. Because it's not just about how long you sleep, it's also, and maybe even more importantly, about when you sleep. So your body runs on this internal master clock, which you've probably heard of. It's your circadian rhythm. And this clock coordinates pretty much everything from your digestion to your hormones. And here's the thing about it. It loves predictability. A consistent schedule signals safety and allows your whole system to just run at peak efficiency. And the impact of this is, well, it's staggering. Get this, maintaining a regular sleep-wake time is linked to an up to 48% lower risk of all-cause mortality. I mean, think about that. That is a massive return on investment for something as simple as going to bed and waking up around the same time every day. So really,
The key takeaway here is pretty mind-blowing. Consistency might actually matter more than duration. A regular, consistent 6 hours of sleep every night can be healthier for you than a totally erratic schedule, where you get 8 hours one night and then 5 the next. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it, right? Especially when we're stuck in that procrastination cycle we talked about. Well, there's a brilliantly simple technique that we can all use.
It's called habit stacking. The idea is so simple. You just piggyback a new habit you want to build onto a habit you already do automatically. And the reason this works so well is because you're basically using an existing neural superhighway as an on-ramp for this new behavior. You're not starting from scratch.
And the process couldn't be easier. First, you pick an anchor. This is something you already do without fail, every single night, like brushing your teeth. Next, you choose a new, tiny little habit you want to add. And finally, you just link them. You consistently perform the new habit immediately after the anchor habit.
So, instead of having a vague goal like, I'm going to improve my bedtime routine, you create a super specific rule. For example, after I brush my teeth, then I will dim the bedroom lights. Or, after I change into my pajamas, then I'll do 2 minutes of gentle stretching. Or the big one, after I lock the front door, then I'll put my phone away for the night. See? These small, concrete steps are what turn good intentions into real action.
You know, when you put all of this together, it really demands a fundamental shift in how we think about sleep. It is not downtime. It's not a luxury. It might just be the single most productive thing we do all day.
And that really is the core message here. Rest isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Sleep is the fuel for change. It's the engine of self-improvement that physically rewires your brain to become the person you want to be. Seriously, every single good habit you want to build starts with a good night's rest. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. In a world that is just obsessed with hustle culture, what if we've had it all wrong? What if the real secret to achieving your goals isn't about working harder, but about resting smarter? What if the most productive thing you can possibly do for tomorrow is to just go to sleep on time tonight? Definitely something to sleep on.